Welcome everyone to LCS Academy playoffs. We are almost 2 days deep. We're right at the start of our second day for our second best of fives. And joining me on the analyst desk, we got Mad Magical, we got Desirux. I'm so happy to have you both here. Mad Magical, how are you doing today?
So far, so good. Can't complain. I am excited. We get more Academy. Who can't love that?
Yeah, it's always a great time. Desirux, this is actually the first time you and I are getting to be on a show together. How stoked are you the best of five ahead?
Oh, I'm stoked for the best of five. I'm honored to be on this desk with you, and of course, my boy Mad Magical. It's going to be an exciting night.
Yeah, it is. And as we get into the action of the day, it is officially, technically, the end of our Academy week. So let's take a look at that Samsung SSD Fast 5 to see how these players are pulling up to leaderboards. I don't think it is a surprise, Desirux, to see Johnson and Diamond still standing into those top spots, considering the performance of their team thus far.
Yeah, FlyQuest looking absolutely phenomenal with the way they played earlier. No one's beating Diamond. Look at that minute difference between Diamond and Newbie. No one's going to pass that up.
And Mad Magical, who is standing out in your eyes upon these SSD Fast 5 lists?
And I got to give props over to the boys over on CLG. You know, they might have finished last year for Academy this split, but they still are able to get themselves up the top. Kian and Keel. The thing is, this team is actually got a lot of talent on it. Unfortunately, we're just seeing that for Academy, with best of twos, it's a lot easier for teams to be able to kind of read their opponents, be able to jump back into the second game, dominate there, or just flat out win both games. It's been a really competitive Academy split.
They had that for a long time, too.
Holding on strong there, though we won't be seeing them making an appearance here in playoffs. Speaking of which, if we take a look at the schedule, we have got quite the matchup today between C9 Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy. Yesterday, we witnessed 100 Thieves taking on Immortals. What a series that was, Mad Magical, maybe defying expectations for some.
For some, it might be, but you look at 100 Thieves Academy, they started off this summer split really strong. They were one of the teams that was competing against FlyQuest Academy for the #1 spot. It just tended to be towards the end that they were stumbling a little bit. And Immortals, the exact opposite, a team that everyone had hyped up. We're like, this is going to be the team that you're going to have to fear. They were dominating in scrims, but unfortunately for them, it always seemed that they were just shy of really finding that excellence, the glory that everyone had lauded that they were going to be able to have.
Really showing out in that game #3, but not able to close the series in the end. And if we take a look at the bracket, we are still in that first round. These are all best of 5 series because of their performance within the regular season. Fly and TL Academy both have buys into the semifinals. As we just mentioned, 100 Thieves took the victory over Immortals to land in the semifinals. But today it is the quarterfinal between C9 Academy and EG Academy. When thinking broadly about these teams and their journeys thus far, Desirux, what are the first thoughts to come to mind?
So struggle comes to mind when we look at Cloud9, because this is a team that dominated the 2020 season, even had a great start to the spring split, dominated that split as well. The thing is, things have been rough as they've gotten to this stage where the meta shifted away from them. You don't see as much control mages onto copy. Unfortunately, it's going more for that bruiser meta. Over on Evil Geniuses, what comes to mind is ties. They got a lot of them. 10 ties in total. Top of the line, baby. 4-10-4. They spent a long time just having those 1-1s, but it showed that they definitely had a lot of potential in the Academy with the way the splits played out.
I understand that to be a bit of a meme that kind of developed, the fact that EG were so split in a lot of their results. But I think in the end, Mad Magical, there's always a lot of intrigue that comes with a matchup when you have the 4th seed versus the 5th seed, especially considering the highs of both these teams at one point, whether it is C9 Academy or EG keeping us on our toes with all of their jungle changes as well.
Well, and I think that's going to be the big statement for today going in for Evil Genius Academy. In fact, Cubby, our caster or color caster for today, he was able to reach out to a lot of these players and talk to them. And you look over at how Team Luke talked about Tomio being brought into the team, replacing contractors, moved up over to Evil Geniuses to share a little bit more of the limelight there. This has been a lot of growing pains that they've been experiencing now, trying to make sure that Tomio can really fit in. But Tomio is incredibly talented. We saw him over on Evil Geniuses Prodigies as a prodigy, this great jungle player that just needed to be refined a bit more, needed to be reined in and controlled a bit more. And lately we have been seeing that he's been a bit more controlled, he's been a little bit more patient, maybe has a little bit more room to grow, but I feel like Evil Geniuses are starting to really come together as an entire lineup.
And digging a bit more into that research that Cubby had conducted, there was also a mention of the fact that prior Contracts was a vocal person for the team, especially in the early game. We know jungle position to be very effective across the map. Deserex, how do you feel that EG have been transitioning with this new jungler, not just to the team, but pretty fresh to the scene overall?
So I did have a talk with their coach Matt about this, and for the most part, they are not that scared. They feel pretty good with Tomio slotting in with the way he's going to play. I mean, he's a very aggressive jungler. We've seen him on champions like Diana, seen him on Graves, we've seen him on Nidalee. And with the playstyle that he does, early counter jungling, he will fight even over Scuttle. He's a very aggressive jungler, and in amateur, I believe he was only really contested by Griffin, who has pro play experience as well. So Tomio, I feel like he's going to adapt all right. He has a very aggressive mid laner to work with in Jojopion, so I'm excited to see how they actually do shape up with Tomio and how they play the map in this matchup here today.
That word aggression has come to define Evil Geniuses, both in the Academy side and the LCS side. But if we're focusing in a bit more on that mid 2v2 between the jungle and mid position, Mad Magical, how do you think they're going to stack up against C9 Academy when we know Surenfire to be able to pop off and Copy is showing a lot of diversity in his champion pool as of late?
See, this is actually, I'm glad you're talking about this, because I kind of want to look at Surenfire especially. The Fiddlesticks play is one of the ones that I've been really wanting to see more of. He played it a lot at the beginning of the split, especially for summer, and it caught a lot of teams off guard where teams started banning it. Only really Keel on CLG Academy was the other player to really play this one. It worked well for them when it was a lot more of the AP coming in from the jungle. Now that we're seeing a shift away, I almost feel like, strangely enough, it's actually working better for Cloud9. This might sound weird since they've had a really rough split, but we're seeing that slow change back to control mate. A little bit more into the wheelhouse of Copy. Syndra is one of the picks that I'm really keeping my eyes out for, just because of how dominant she's starting to become on 11-15. And this might allow Surenfire to be more controlling, more enabling, well, not enabling, more invasive into the jungle of Tomio to really control Tomio and keep him from actually getting that fast tempo in the early game.
That change in the mid lane position in the overall meta has been something pretty significant across the board, whether it is people who are more comfortable on those control mages already coming back into fruition or others having to get more comfortable in that aspect. Deserex, how do you feel that this has affected the overall meta, the fact that we are opening up to some more of the classic picks in the mid lane?
You know what? I have to agree with Mad Magical a lot. I think this is going to suit Cloud9 quite well. I think this is going to suit Copy's champion pool quite well. Over on the spring split, one of the last patches we played on was 11.6. And there you had Copy playing a lot of Orianna, a lot of Syndra, a lot of Victor. He loves those control mages. And during that split, he was one of the top KDAs underneath Ryoma. He does suffer a bit in lane, but once he gets to scaling, once he gets to the team fight, Copy looks really good on those control mages. So we'll see what he's able to bring.
Well, I'm looking to watch some real good play here today. We are ready to get into Champion Select for game number 1 of the series between Cloud9 Academy and Evil Geniuses. My friend, will you send it to the casters? Yeah, I got you. Take it away, Rafa.
Oh! Thanks to the Tigers for that gnarly toss, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got game 1 for Cloud9 Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy. See, Cubby, I know I told you I got something special planned for the beginning.
Starting on a fun note, that's good to see. And
let's go.
Excited to see these two teams go up against the Rift. Shoutouts to Alex or Mad Magical and Deserex for helping us out. And a lot of the talk on the desk was around the new name that you might see in Champ Select, Tomio stepping up for EGA, someone we've both covered throughout his circuit and semi-pro. And Rafa, I'm actually going to kind of throw the mic to you on this one. What are your first impressions of Tomio? Like, if no one's ever seen this guy play, what would you have to say about him right off the bat?
I got 3 things for you, Cubby. 1, he's an absolute monster in the jungle, and he takes after the Evil Genius's name, not only boasting hard carry junglers like Lisa and Graves, but also Nidalee, just like the big brothers in Svenskeren and Contracts. I swear, all the Evil Geniuses junglers have some of the best Nidalee players in North America. Number 2, he is coming from Evil Geniuses Prodigies, the semi-pro team for Evil Geniuses, but he has been by far the most dominant jungler that has not already had Academy experience. And 3, he's got a Pikachu bank, just like me, as we found out during the Proving Grounds tournament. So that's a dub right there.
This is true. Excited to see how Tomio is able to meld with the rest of the teams. It's going to be a big question because they have a tough test going up against C9, who are 4th in the standings, but were our top academy team last year. Took 2nd in Proving Grounds, and they feel rather confident coming into this one, and rightfully so, Rafa, especially considering the roster swap of Tomio.
For Tomio, both the Tomio and the Jojo Pion mid-jungle duo synergy is going to be something that comes into question, as Tomio was bumped up to the academy roster after the lock-ins were officialized back in July. And already we might see a little bit of a flavor that was brought out by the academy teams earlier this summer, Cubby, where you have something like a Lulu or a Karma buffing up a huge melee bruiser like the Olaf here.
Yeah, so this is something that we're seeing emerging as a counter to Xin Zhao. A lot of people remember the Xin Lulu, the Xin Karma combos. We've seen a lot of Olaf Lulu getting played into Xin because going unstoppable, getting up in the face of Xin, slowing him down, just running through a team fight. Xin doesn't deal too well with that, and I like how EG right off the bat putting Tomio in a comfort zone if that's going to be a Lulu mid, which Jojo Pion in 5 plays is actually 4-1 on the champion, has done rather well with it, as C9 instantly going to respond in a Felios and a comfort pick for Copy in that Syndra.
And there's no LeBlanc answer back from Jojo Pion, as it was one of the things that Cloud9 Academy already banned, along with that Rise. So when it comes to mid lane answers, there still could be that Lulu in the mid lane for Jojo Pion, but knowing this team, Cubby, and one of the things that we've come to really respect is that Jojo Pion does lead the damage share numbers here for EG Academy.
Yeah, Jojo, a lot of how EG played with contracts and Jojo Pion was contracts, getting Jojo Pion a lead early and then having him carry the team, transitioning those leads into other lanes. And curious to see if Tomio is able to recreate that, as a lot of EG's play was actually Aspect kind of giving up things on Evil Genius's prodigies to help enable Tomio. And it appears game 1, if that Lulu is going to go mid, that's the strategy that EGA is going to take upon themselves to maybe help their new jungler feel comfortable, as rounding out the draft right here, both teams are going to be looking for supports. EG, they don't want to deal with that Tom Kish, so they're going to take that one off the table themselves. And importantly, I want to see if EG, my guess is they're going to probably protect Tony Top in the top lane, so maybe they want to ban out something they just don't want to deal with against Darshan. We were joking, throwing around the Gnar plushie, but Darshan's Gnar has been fantastic and likely blind, especially they're going to take Camille off the table too.
Don't forget that Tony Top is one of the few semi-pro players that came into Academy playing Lulu Top a lot back in Mirage Esports. He's, I don't know why he liked it so much, but it does work, and this is something that should be considered going into this draft if Cloud9 Academy have done their homework correctly here.
So that Camille ban, that tells me that Darshan might be looking for something like a Gangplank, like a Gnar, and EG, with so many picks open, they're going to leave everything at the table for Darshan. Most likely will give counterpick over to Tony Top. Of course, that Lulu could keep things rather flexible. I think they're going to blind a support here, which, I mean, Nautilus is still on the table. They just banned out 2 Nautilus counters. Might be a Nautilus ban coming out from C9, which would leave Leona and Alistar both on the table. Mystiques does prefer the Alistar side of things, so I'm curious to see if he ends up going for that now.
EG Academy, by taking their support, does protect whether that Lulu is still a flex pick for either the solo laners in Jojo Pion and Tony Top. Now, Cloud9 Academy, it's their support answer to pair up with the Aphelios, and as well, a blind pick potentially for Darshan.
So EG, they're going to take Leona. Alistar, while it's Mystique's comfort, he has 8 plays on it, his second most played, does not deal well into Aphelios Syndra. So, going to take Leona. I expect a Rel or an Alistar coming out from C9 here. Another option would actually be a Gragas. They can use that to try and control the Ashe. Whereas it looks like a Jace. Oh, a Taric coming out. Okay.
Ooh.
I like this. If you go invulnerable at the right time, you could wait out Olaf's ultimate, and it could be very powerful tool for C9 and Isles to use to protect them.
Now you have Strong Poke as well coming in for Darshan. Also a powerful blind pick, as we've seen throughout the Academy Summer Split. Now, one of the things is, Cubby, is that when you pick this Jace, I want to see some jungle priority made towards the top side of the map if you're going to play this. If you just leave it in the side lane, then it's not going to be necessarily the best pick overall for Cloud9.
And EG might be looking to counter that, as Mystique's having some fun, hovering a couple of his favorites, and it's going to be Wukong for Tony Top, something that he is very comfortable on. Did see a few nerfs, less health growth, or health regain, coming out from Wukong now, so we'll be a little bit more vulnerable to Jace's poke, especially early, but of course with that passive, picking up that health regain and extra armor when he stays in combat, should help Wukong quite a bit in that matchup, and also deals rather well with Aphelios. So it looks like EG really prioritizing the dive, bringing the utility, the CC from the bot lane, trying to enable Tony Top and Tomio, two graduates of the 2020 SGC team Infernal, a team that Copy was also on the flip side in this game one.
Clash in the family so far from Team Infernal back in 2020 of November last year. And what I want to talk about, Cubby, is that EG Academy has a notable amount of long-range engage. You got the Crystal Enchanted Arrow. You also have Tony Top, who can make the flanks with this Wukong, as you can go invisible with the decoy and then approach with a Cyclone attack. And whereas with Cloud9 Academy, you don't really have the same range of long-distance teamfight AoE engage. The best you got is either Copy being able to go for a Scatter the Weak stun, or if Surenfire goes head first into the back line, and you got him paired with the Tark for a Dazzle stun.
And I like how you're pointing that out, Rafa, because Tarek does have someone to empower, right? Using that chain, you can, of course, add the stun on anyone else, and that's a very powerful combo between Xin Zhao and Tarek, getting that stun off, ensuring that you get those three-pronged Talon strikes, getting that knock-up. Summit C9 will have to use, but for me, all eyes have to be on the new player for EG, as Tomio on Olaf into Xin with this Lulu. EG are trying to empower their newest member to take over this game and do it early.
This is his Academy debut, Cubby, and as we're on the Rift for Game 1 of the series between Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses, I want to see how Tomio adapts to his first Academy jungle game with this openings path.
Yeah, and talking with Tomio early, just getting into this series, talking about, like how is he feeling getting into this game? He has this experience. Keep in mind, Evil Geniuses Prodigies took 5th, 6th finish in Proving Grounds as an amateur team off the back of Tomio's play, and an AD known as Shiro, now it might be known as Danny, your second team All-Pro AD with LCS voting. As Tomio has experience in this, and talking with him, he really wanted to rely on that experience to ensure that he is ready for this. And I do like this early plan from EG, as they're going to utilize the early power of Ashe and Olaf to try and get an early invade, but it is spotted by C9.
The ward being spotted there from, it looks like it was Isles' ward. Surenfire is already going to back off, and they say, you know what, we're not going to even try to flip for the red buff and try to see if we can ensure that the Raptor camp is not stolen away, as so far
they can win this.
The Raptor camps are being traded back and forth. A nice Dazzle stun forces Tomio flash. Surenfire is going to get the Ignite, being traded out for Mystiques, as both EG and Cloud9 are still just fighting over some damn chicken nuggets here, as Copy and Jojapion are going to try to join the party as well. But it looks like Evil Geniuses Academy, they're going to back off now, and Surenfire will be able to win out on the camp war.
Yeah, it was a good stun coming out from Isles, forced Tomio's flash, and he had to dip a little bit too far down, so C9 utilizing that brush was able to get the right amount of pressure off. So Tomio not able to find a successful invade. Will be a little bit behind in the jungle path, something that Olaf does have an advantage of early, with that early clear. But Tomio will have to bounce back, and Tomio, I think, is playing at a little bit higher ping. He's not at the EG facility like everyone else. He has said that that's been part of the experience that, he's been missing so far, but still feels confident that he's going to be able to perform today and push his team over the edge in this best of 5.
Well, thankfully, it's not the Nidalee, the Olaf. I don't want to take anything away from Olaf players, but that you've got some point-and-click abilities in the Reckless Swing, and then just, buffs in your Vicious Strikes and your Ragnarok. So really the only thing that could be affected is that the Undertow Axe. But so far, Tomio, as he's just trying to catch back up in the camp game, he's full cleared out his bottom side jungle respectively. But notice here, because one of the Raptors was taken by Evil Geniuses, Surenfire is technically not level 3 yet, and he's trying to make a decision whether he can beeline to the crab, but thankfully, he might have priority just thanks to Darshan on the top side of the map, but there's a reality, Cubby, where if Tomio had suspected that he was still level 2, he could have potentially fought him at the crab for level 3.
Not going to be the reality that we see, though. We're going to have to see if that hits in the multiverse, as I said, it might be an invade onto the rocks instead of the chicken nuggets, as Surenfire trying to get up in the face of Tomio, utilize the fact that Jace has priority.
Tomio might be pushed off the Krugs here. Thankfully, though, I think Tomio being here does prevent the fact that Tony Top could have gone and dove, as standard level 3 dive top lane, being able to shove in a huge stack of minion wave under the tower. Thankfully, Tony Top will be protected thanks to Tomio's presence.
Yeah, also, I think important to note that Mystiques did make the roam up here off of C9's reset, as EG were able to reset first, and while no play breaks out, that is good movement from Mystiques, being aware that that was the target that C9 were looking for. As instead, both junglers will return to their camps, and important for C9, I believe, Rafa, that they're faring okay early, because this is the spike that EG want to use, right? The fact that they have this Olaf-Lulu combo, and in this early game, the fact that they have been delaying Tomio, not enabling him to get off that free full clear, denying one of the crabs, and potentially getting both crabs as they're setting up to take the bot one. It's a good start for C9.
Japion and Copy had already made early teleport plays as well, so I don't expect that we'll see any mid lane roaming to the side lane action within the next couple of minutes, so the early game should be a fairly slow one for Cloud9 and EG at this point. If we see any action at this point, it will have to come from, I imagine, the top lane, as Darshan is starting to chunk out Tony Top.
So Jace, we talked about the fact that Jace does win this matchup early. Once Tony Top is able to get 6 and get a few levels, especially when he gets that Divine Sunder, that's when Wukong starts to take over this matchup. As see some trading, bot will favor Taric in the long run as he has sustained. But a good contest coming out of Mystiques and Team Luke as they're trying to take advantage of Ash's early landing prowess.
It's a nice shove from Team Luke and Mystiques. I wonder if Tomio will opt in for an early Dragon clear. Doesn't decide to go for it quite yet. Has some camps to clear out on the bottom side of the map. As Team Luke and Mystiques decide they want to go for a little recall here. Darshan's going to use his teleport onto the tops of the map, so this is going to question potentially for Tony Top's hand whether he's going to answer the teleport or if he wants to save it for a play on the bottom side of the map. Teleport used? Alright, so we're taking things a little slow in the early game here, Cubby.
Trying to get a feel for each other in this best of 5, Rafa, as both teams still posturing, and I still feel like this does benefit C9. The fact that if things are slow early, they do have a scaling advantage in jungle, mid, and AD, especially support with that Taric, and it's really going to be on EG. They're down 1k gold early, and I really want to see if EG are going to really push or force hard around these first few objectives, because you got to believe that now that Jojo Pion 6, once Tomio dings that level 6 as well, that's the angle that EG are really looking to fight and take advantage of. I think that's their window where they're really going to feel the strongest in this comp.
Yeah, the curious thing is how Surnefire and Tomio are always matching each other, or ending up on the same side of the map for the first 6 minutes of the game that we've seen. Twice now, Surnefire has pathed towards the top side of the map on these huge wave crashes that Darshan has been building up into Tony Top. But Tomio, even if it comes at the cost of his own Krugs, does mean that he is there to prevent a 2-on-1 situation, and because there's no teleports from Copy and Jojo Pion, it could have really put Tony Top behind, but because Tomio is here and matching Surnfire's position on the map, Tony Top, while being down in CS, at least isn't completely put out of the game.
And once he gets the Divine Sunder, that's where Wukong really gets into this matchup and takes over. So the fact that Tomio is somewhat holding the hand of Tony Top to make sure that he's able to get there and not get set too far behind by Darshan's Jace is a good sign, as Darshan's Jace, of course, this is his 5th play on Jace this Academy split, and Darshan has had a very good split of Academy, averaging the 3rd highest gold diff at 10 among all top laners that we had, including Kumo and Jenkins in that list, who would be the 2 that actually would be above him. So Darshan has really had a strong split of Academy play, and good to see C9 taking advantage of that with a blind Jace that he's piloting very well into a counter matchup. He does win the matchup at this point of the game, but still getting the advantage that he needs to delay that Divine Sunder spike as long as possible.
And as long as Darshan can maintain this priority, even though they haven't been able to find success in setting up Dizon at Tony Top, the priority should allow them control over this topside river, which with the Rift Herald spawning, I would imagine that that should be the biggest objective that Cloud9 want to start setting up for.
And you can see Isles actually already getting out of lane, moving towards this, matching the roam of Mystiques, who is spotted on a ward, but helping Jojo Pion just try and crash this wave safely. Copy is contesting this, and both teams posturing. With Ashe Olaf, your goal really is to take these early dragons, and the fact that C9 has delayed the first dragon this much is a good sign for them, as EG trying to force some vision, trying to set this up, and actually looking for an ECA on the Copy. This Team Luke does now have access to that long-range engage that you talked about earlier, Rafa.
EG do have an opportunity, though, to potentially go for Rift Herald here. Oh, interesting flash from Jojo Pion. Well, Summoner Spell down for an advantage of Cloud9 as wanted to look at bottom lane. King and Isles were getting a huge shove onto the bottom side of the map. It looked like because EG were indecisive whether they wanted to commit to a mid fight or get set up for an objective. But there was an opportunity to go for a Dragon, but so far Evil Geniuses are more reactive on the play rather than being proactive. And so far, even though it has neutralized the game and has made things stable, as you said before, Cubby, this seems to just build up more in Cloud9's favor. If EG are just handshaking with Cloud9, Cloud9 are more than happy to take that.
EG's big spikes in this game are dinging 6 on that mid-jungle duo, and then also 2-item spike from Jojo Pyun, as most likely we'll be going for Shirelia's Battle Song and Ardent Sensor in this comp. Those 2 items being much cheaper than the items that Copy will be going for. We'll hit that 2-item spike first, and is where you can really empower that Olaf with the Gorge Ranker and make sure that Tomio is able to get off to the most successful start possible with this Olaf, as Tomio has done a decent job of catching up, but still hasn't been able to take any monster objectives. And C9 happy to delay it, as they're in no rush. The fact that they're covering their butts, have a 1k gold lead, that's overperforming already at this point of the game, Rafa.
Looking at Copy, the way he's controlling the mid lane, as there's a little bit of a history that we gotta keep up with against Jojo Pyun, as you actually got a chance to catch up with Copy right before this match and get his thoughts about how he was expecting this matchup to play out.
Yeah, Jojo Pyun, of course, one of the more hyped mid laners that we have in Proving Grounds, or in the Academy scene as well. But Copy, the way that he described it is Jojo's a really go big or go home player in my eyes, and I mean, with my eyes as well, watching the game, that's pretty safe to say. Jojo likes to take risks. This young 16-year-old really has faith in his mechanics, his ability to outplay people. And the way that Copy put it is, you know, if I just shut him down or match his aggression and matchups when I'm able to, I feel like, you know, that's all, what I need to do. That's my job in this best 5. That's what is going to help put us over the edge. And putting Copy on a pick that he has been very comfortable with in past metas when Syndra was very strong. Of course, her being strong once again. Copy's been able to do that in this matchup, and even with that priority, helping shove Tomio off that Rift Herald and once again keep delaying time. This is what the big key is for C9 is EG. One of the most bloodthirsty teams that we have in Academy. Haven't found any fights yet and might be looking for one here as the bot has rotated mid.
Yeah, you say bloodthirsty, but so far it's been the most tame game we've had of Academy all season long, Cubby. My goodness, someone just hit something at this point, man. But to you know, jokes aside, you can see how both of these teams are super respectful of each other and not trying to overextend their welcome too long, as both Surenfire tried to start with the Rift Herald, EG started to collapse and he got out. Then Tomio tried to start up the Rift Herald. Then the teleport came in from Copy to make sure that they could force priority back onto Rift Herald. But now that Team Luke and the Steaks roamed over and are seceding pressure away from the bottom lane turret, they're able to now gain advantage over this Rift Herald. Surenfire is going to opt in for a trade, but I'm telling you, Cubby, this is something that looks like it came out of Wild Rift Esports now, because we got a dual mid lane action going on as Jojo Pyun was sent over to the bottom lane to catch that wave.
This is a big win across the map for C9. I know that, of course, Shelly will be gold in the future, but look at all the plates they've been able to get on King, and Jojo Pyun wasn't even able to stick around. He was fearing the dive, was scared that C9 might execute a play on him, so he had to back off. So we have C9 all of a sudden extending that 1k gold lead to almost 2k at this point. Now EG will be cashing the check of Shelly here rather soon, but first brick maybe going over to King. That's really important on this Aphelios, that he has a start like this as he gets all that solo gold and XP and also the solo turret. King is going to be massive in this game.
Yeah, and this is a trade that Cloud9 are willing to take, because it looks like this Rift Herald is trying to go in advantage of getting Tony Top get caught back up in the game despite the CS advantage that Darshan has been building up. But, you know, as soon as Darshan hits his first item power spike, he's going to be fine. He will contribute the poke and the split push advantage that Cloud9 want, whereas making that trade for King to be accelerated as an Aphelios, that hands down win in C9's books here.
Oh, I really like what Darshan's doing here. So a lot of the wave was left up. He's actually pulling the wave. There are no objectives up, nothing to fight over on the map at the moment, so he's going to freeze this and deny even more goal experience and resources away from EG. Now this is going to force Tony Top to go elsewhere. As you can see, he's walking bot lane. He has no other lane to farm at the moment, because going there would be an overextension on the map. And a lot of people talk about freezes. I think that freezes are sometimes talked about a little bit too much at the wrong times. It's important to freeze at the right time. This is the perfect time for Darshan to freeze, as there's nothing going on the map at the moment. And he just gets some free time, some alone time to importantly set Tony Top behind and make sure that he matches that first item power spike you were talking about, Rafa, as Tony Top does have that Divine Thunder finish. This is where he's very strong on the map.
Nice cleanse from King. Immediately getting out of harm's way from that Solar Flare from Mystiques. It's a one summoner spell down, but being able to keep things neutralized in the early game for Cloud9 as, you know, we're starting to leave that point of the early game. We're almost 15 minutes into the game, so we're hitting that mid-game stride where a lot of these mythics are coming online. Shield bows for both of the marksmen respectively, Gore Drinker for Tomio, as well as Shurnfire. And like you said before, there's no objectives coming up for the next 2.5 minutes, so this is going to be a point where even though they tried to accelerate Tony Top with that Rift Herald play, it feels like it's being neutralized by this freeze that Darshan was able to pull off.
It forces EG to do something on the map, and you can see C9, they're playing behind their turret so cautiously. Now they spotted out 4 members here taking the blue buff. They're going to happily see that because guess what? Copy's playing the bot lane. He's getting even more free time, alone time to himself, so C9 following yet another member solo gold and XP in the side lanes, and this is how they've been able to extend that gold lead. 1K in the past 2-3 minutes just by playing out these lane states very well. EG, they are an over-aggressive team. Copy said that we were going to try and punish and rely on that, and look at what they're doing. Just playing 3 lanes intelligently, punishing the fact that EG is grouped up on 4, the fact that EG isn't able to pull off a play. C9 gets a lead.
Key here, Cubby, though, you say that they're an over-aggressive team, but that was when Contracts was in the lineup, and then we don't, you know, not trying to put anything against Tomio, but as when you got a chance to talk to Team Luke, Contracts was one of the veteran voices in Evil Genius Academy, and it seems so far, even though that the shot calling may have been traded up to other members of the Evil Geniuses, it doesn't seem like there is the same level of authority and confidence to go for plays in the early game compared to when Contracts was in the lineup here, just based off of Game 1.
Maybe not yet. I do want to give some credit to C9. I think they're playing this out very intelligently by denying a lot of those windows for EG.
Sure.
But I think that with Dragon spawning in a minute 20, I think that EG is definitely going to try and take a fight here. C9 are going to have the choice to either fight or give this objective. You see Tomio getting a little bit of poke onto Isles, which he will heal back up. But going into this fight, all about the Tony Top flank. If Tony Top's able to find Jace, Syndra, Aphelios in the backline, 3 rather immobile carries on this Wukong, that's a game changer for EG, whereas for C9, I think all eyes have to be on Isles. How is he able to use that Cosmic Radiance to disengage, to wait out Tomio's unstoppable ultimate, wait out him being empowered up by Jojo Pianes? Oh boy, that might all be stopped, Darshan.
Well, I don't know if a flank is going to come in from Tony Top anytime soon without the flash. Still has a teleport, but no Cyclone either, just in time for this first or second dragon to be coming up. But they find another engage on the Shurnfire. Is going to pop the Crescent Guard, blocks out a lot of damage, and Cloud9 are able to exit safely away from the engage of EG.
Yeah, but another big ultimate burns. No invulnerability now for Xin Zhao. Isles, I think intelligently, though, did hold the Cosmic Radiance. That's still the biggest ultimate that C9 has. As EG do a good job of controlling Vision, getting themselves a small lead. All that health dealt to Shurnfire will be healed up by the fact that there is access to Fruit and those Terra kills in this bot river, and that might be enough for EG. The fact they don't have Wukong's ultimate to see this Dragon give up control, a big win for C9, who have the scaling advantage in this game as well, Rafa.
And, you know, I think I'm going to jump on the credit train as you've allotted to Cloud9 in the early game, because their play has been so controlled, so reserved. Being able to acknowledge and recognize which objectives to give up in exchange for greater advantages into the right members of the team has been absolutely crucial. It is amazing that we have gone almost 18 minutes without a first blood, but Cloud9, they are winning the war of attrition right now.
And they're doing it waiting out the window where EG has to make plays. You can see them grouping up as 4, trying to go find people caught out with Tomio, with Jojo Pion grouped up. And the fact that C9 are just denying that, they get further and further ahead in gold, further ahead in experience and levels, that really benefits them as the game goes on. And EG, the fact that they haven't been able to find these windows, they have a hill to climb up. Not only are they down 2.5k gold, but now we have 2 items on King's Aphelios. We'll be able to deal a lot of damage in these team fights with the Hurricane and the Immortal Shield Bow, as it's getting more and more difficult to utilize the power of that Olaf early. As Tony Top has shoved up that top wave, is actually starting Rift Herald by himself with Tomio and Team Luke rotating over. This should be EG's, but C9, they are hanging around the area.
Jojo is on the bottom side of the map, has teleport to match in case they need to be there for a fight. Jojo is trying to haul butt all the way to the top side of the map so he doesn't have to expend that summoner spell. The Rift Herald is reset. For Cloud9, once again, they are just pulling EG off of the fear of being able to just win out this fight, because, like you said before, King on this 2-item spike, so much stronger than Team Luke, already in Aphelios, just having a lot more damage than Ashe would, as Ashe is really picked here for utility rather than a straight-up damage and DPS.
The utility and control in the laning phase, but because of that Rift Herald swap earlier, they were able to get King out of the lane phase for free, get him that first brick, which even more reasons that C9 won that initial play. And continue to snowball this one out as Miles might be caught.
Okay, well, that might be first blood going over to EG Academy, but the response from Cloud9, let's see what happens.
King.
A nice Moonlight Vigil, but Shermfire can't do that much to be able to take and absorb all that damage without the use of the Cosmic Radiance, as Isles was completely obliterated before Cloud9 had a chance.
Much needed find for EG there. Beautiful ECA lands from Team Luke in the choke, and EG, we talked about how they get outscaled. They're trying to push this rather hard. Finally find a play for themselves and get themselves at least on the board, Rafa, as grouped up as 4. That's the first mistake, first misstep that C9's made this game.
Just beautiful layering of crowd control, and even the flank from Tony Top threatens the backline here from Cloud9, so they cannot actually assist in Shermfire, which is why he was left out to dust.
Yeah, and King so close to dusting the rest of the members of EG there, as, of course, not sure if he's going for the brand new Aphelios build. We've been seeing a lot of the Thality max second with the Collector, and relying on the fact that when you land that big Infernum ultimate with that lethality and the changes to Aphelios, does a lot of damage. It hits rather hard, but looking at the comp that EG has and the tankiness between Lulu, Olaf, Wukong, I'm actually curious if he's skipping over Collector and if he picks up a later Serpent's Fang. That might be a rather efficient item for King this game if he does want to opt in for that lethality build. If not, first traditional crit, relying on the fact that the rest of his team does outscale EG, not going to hurt him in this one.
It might just be, though, because with the longsword and crit cloak, it doesn't build into an Infinity Edge quite yet. It's probably is the Collector coming in for the third item, so that lethality and the extra cash that you get upon execution of any of the members against EG will be nice as a little stimmy. Cloud9, as we saw before, their first misstep in the game, but it's not a huge one. The gold lead is still in their favor. It is only just given a little bit of gold back into the pockets of Evil Geniuses. Baron has spawned at this point, and we have Dragon coming up in the next 50 seconds.
And EG, I think importantly, to win that skirmish, they did have to burn the teleport from Tony Top, so going to be a little bit more difficult for him to find the flank. He's going to have to fix that bot wave in order to do so. Whereas Darshan crashing the top wave at the right time will deny a little bit of golden experience, as they have a TP to reset. C9 trying to set up early, get control of the river. If you can fit Jason in the river first, that would be crucial, landing all this poke. EG trying to break that, but Mystiques goes very low, an arrow.
Oh. Check this out, Cubby. Dragons, it still hasn't spawned for another 12 seconds, but with the Rift Herald on the top side of the map, see how much damage it gets done, as EG are way too far away from the top side of the map to actually do anything about it. So, if they decide to send one member for it, only Jojo has teleport, but at this point, they might have to seek Dragon control, because not only you have this Rift Herald that is pounding away onto the top side of the map, but you've also lost one of your major engage tools in that Crystal Enchanted Arrow.
Oh, C9 are just running laps around EG at this point. Look at that. They got 2 members on Dragon. They're going to keep Poppy's Syndra here to poke them off Baron, to threaten the fact they can't even start this as EG reeling. They don't have anything to do on the map. They're just going to force the Baron, try and force a fight. And C9, they're rotating over. They're going to be here in time as EG. They're going to be chunked out.
Mystiques is already dead.
Oh,
Poppy
boy.
just annihilated him, and no more Baron for EG. I don't even think that Cloud9 need to start this up. They can continue pushing down mid because they already have the inside track, and Rift Herald is still... Can we get a camera on the Rift Herald and see how much damage Shelly has done as the 6th unofficial member for Cloud9 Academy here?
The Kelly solo mission, taking down 2 turrets, and C9 taking one on their own in the mid lane, as well as they're going to rotate bot, fix that wave, crash that as well. And C9, they reclaim that gold lead, now up 3k off the fact that they're just running EG around the map, taking advantage of the fact that they have to 4-1 with this Lulu, playing the side lanes beautifully in this game, Rafa.
Oh my gosh. Oh, is this the Mystique's blow-up cam? Let's see. Oh yeah, no chance. No shot, man.
Yeah, a little bit too... Oh, here we go! Big
This
hit
is
from
for
Kelly.
you.
Yeah.
This is for you, Queen. Bam! Cloud9 are playing the map so well, Cubby. Yes, EG picked up the 2 kills in the mid lane, but man, this has been...
Yeah. Rafa's been
actually...
relegated to rooting for Rift Heralds. That's where we're at right now. Yeah.
When you've only had 3 kills and as a play-by-play, you're not really getting your money's worth as trying to start shouting in team fights. But I can appreciate some damn good macro from Cloud9 as they are just executing this first game out beautifully. As Crystal Enchanter arrow goes wide once again. King being able to dodge out, not even burning any summoner spells whatsoever. Another engage tool burned by EG. It's going to open up the tables here. Solar Flare, not necessarily landing the stun. This time he'll be able to get the Cosmic Radiance down. Churnfire and the rest of the Cloud9 Academy crew should be able to walk out of this one scot-free.
Tony Top burned TP to get in the mid lane here and found nothing as well. Another big cooldown burned for EG as now Tomio caught out around terrain.
Just getting some chip damage here. No need to force a real engage as... Okay, Mystiques goes in, gets blown up once again. Copy just has the delete button ready for the support of EG. Now it's a 5-on-4 members advantage. Moonlight Vigil is going to land with the Gravitum stun. Get a huge crowd control option down, but Tomio puts on the Ragnarok button and turns tails. Tomio turns it around with the Cyclone as well. Tomio said, okay, you guys want to pick the fight with me? You better get ready for a face full of axes, and that might be barren now for EG.
C9, they just lost the 5v4, and they didn't have the Cosmic Radiance. We talked about the importance of that cooldown, the fact that you can shut down Tomio popping that ult, you can shut down the Wukong flank. They don't have that skill. They lose everything as EG melt them in a 4v5, a clean wipe, and Mystique's giving his life. It seems all planned now, Rafa.
It's all an elaborate ruse, it seems, as everything looked so good for Cloud9, and then they felt confident about taking the fight again. But like you said, Cubby, without that Cosmic Radiance, I think Cloud9 just really overestimated the fight that they could take afterwards.
Yeah, and the big mistake comes here when they wrap around to the river, because look at King. The path that he takes, it's away from the rest of his team. You can see him kind of retreating, kind of stepping back a little bit. He pops the Gravitum, but immediately Tony Top finds him, and Tomio with the Lulu just gets to run straight through the rest of C9 as he is doing so much damage on this Olaf, empowered by that Lulu. Him and Tony Top, just the Bash brothers sync up and take down all of C9 and put EG back into this game one.
Well, it's all that talk about the macro play, and then Cloud9 feel confident about one fight, and to be fair, there was no Crystal Enchanted Arrow, there was no Solar Flare either, but the amount of damage that came out of Tomio just off of the engage from Cyclone and the Ragnarok being powered, to be fair, this now, hopefully, Cloud9 are now more aware of, like, man, we really need Cosmic Radiance and Crescent Guard for the next fight that we take against these guys.
I could just hear Tomio, like, if you guys haven't tuned into a Tomio stream, you're missing out on some of the best content that we have in the NA
it's
space.
It's so good.
And I can just hear Tomio, like, in comms just saying, like, yo, that's illegal. They can't be doing that right now. As he just runs it down solo. Yeah. And now EG, all of a sudden, with this Baron buff, we haven't really talked about the fact that, C9's macro has granted them 3 dragons. One that, with an Ashe Olaf comp, we kind of expect EG to be at this point in this game, taking the dragons, using that bot priority, using the power of the Olaf. C9 has been good at denying that. But now they have to take a dragon where they are going up against Baron and Flash being burned by Isles, EG sending 5. They're going to bleed out some gold top lane as Darshan is footing. It looks like they're committed to giving this dragon. They might try for a Miracle Steal, but EG with the Baron buff will be able to take this one for themselves.
Yeah, Darshan's presence on the top side of the map will force the hand of EG to come back. But thankfully for EG...
Chase down. Yeah?
I think he's fine. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm wrong here. Darshan is in a bad spot. He's got no one else to help him. You had Isles on route saying, "Don't worry, friend, I come to get you." But if you haven't looked at Joshi's Twitter account recently, then you would have known that 25 seconds far too out from that Raptor camp, he was not going to make it in time to his friend Darshan.
We'd have to draw a lot of circles on the screen to reference that chart, Rafa. That's a pretty complicated reference that we have at the moment. As, well, it was all about fight timings when you're able to join. On average, the average team fight was the last 15 seconds, according to fellow Academy caster Joshi's calculations. That fight lasted about 5 seconds as Darshan was chased down by the side of EG, and EG, for all the mistakes they made early, Rafa, it's been off the back of their newest member, Tomio, and his Olaf. They've been able to pull themselves back into this game, and I know that Tomio, he is the newest member on this Academy squad, but I myself and the rest of the team were rather confident that Tomio would be able to step up based on how good his performance was, not only in the semi-pro circuit, but also proving grounds in the last split. This guy has proven that on an amateur roster, he can hold his own against a lot of these Academy junglers. And holding your own against someone like Schernfire and C9, the team that took second last split, has been a dominant team in Academy throughout their history. Sometimes here, despite their 4th place finish, that's not an easy task, and Tomio is stepping up to that mantle in his first game.
And Tomio has not shied away or was at all scared coming into this series, as he said before and before this game, and when you got a chance to talk to Tomio. They had experience in Best of 5 series against Immortals Academy and Dignitas Academy during the Proving Grounds playoffs. So, Tomio was more than prepared for this. It really, his only concern was just the playing from Canada on 80, 90 ping. But so far, you get one fight on this Olaf. You're back in the game. The gold lead is in your favor. We have to bring focus now back to the objective control, though, because even though EG, this is the first dragon that they've been able to acquire, it's still sole point for Cloud9. So Cloud9 was not able to contest for that last dragon, but come 3 minutes from now, that story might change.
Not only is it sole point for C9, but they're still scaling. We talked a lot about, in the early game, the scaling of C9, the fact that going even is a win for them. And this 2K gold lead for EG, while it has granted them a lot more map control, it still feels like they're going to have an uphill battle, especially once this Serelda's Grudge is going to be finished by Jace. That's armor pen on both Aphelios and Jace, and an incoming Infinity Edge for King as well, as that looks to be his 4th item. And EG will have to be very careful about how they navigate around that Cosmic Radiance, as one slip-up, one mistake going up against the invulnerability that Taric grants to your team would spell doom for EG. I think that their team fight wins, the small wins they found around the map, have been based off of finding Isles isolated, making him forcing out that cooldown early, and then re-engaging a fight after that. I want to see if Isles can maybe avoid those situations and use that Cosmic Radiance at the perfect time to get that dominant engage on EG, because that has granted EG the windows to get back into this game.
Yeah, without the Cosmic Radiance, doesn't really seem like Cloud9 have any other methods to disengage a giant Viking just screaming. I'm not sure what he screams, to be honest.
Well, it's Broloff, so he screams bro.
Oh, bro! Well, I think he says Bromacia, but I know he's from the Freljord, as I was corrected by Smax earlier this week.
Here we go.
As a Crystal Enchanted Arrow. You talked about this before. Isles got to stop getting caught out, but Cosmic Radiance is not going to save you in time, as the layer of crowd control from Evil Genius is impeccable, just in time for the second Baron spawn.
And the ECAs, not all of them have landed from Team Luke, but that's a beauty right there. No field goals, as it's rather fabulous hitting Taric, and that will force C9 now to contest in a 4v5. And important that EG take this fast, because that Infernal Dragon is spawning in 45 seconds. And it looks like C9 being down a member and realizing the importance of that ultimate for them. They'll peel off, try and take control of the bot wave, take control of the bot river, give Baron, and take this next Infernal, at least try to contest it. Which I don't even know if they're going to be able to do that.
I mean, thankfully, they have the first 3 dragons in their pocket already, but this is going to be potentially another dragon that does not go the way of Cloud9. Evil Geniuses slowly making their way back into the game. You said it was going to be an uphill battle, but so far, Evil Geniuses, they're locking the pieces together, and they're knocking down the right dominoes towards that potential Game 1 victory after what seemed like such a powerful game. And Schernfire, he doesn't have Cosmic Radiance. Crescent Guard is not going to protect him for long. He has Flash over the wall, but that's going to bring Tomio, the rest of Tony Top, into getting potentially a 3-man Cyclone. They run through Schernfire, and Isles is here, but he just dies again. And Evil Geniuses are just running through Cloud9 in their own jungle. King might be able to escape the terror of Evil Geniuses Academy. But Tomio, he is going balls deep. He is ready to just run down Cloud9 and just really make his stamp on his Academy debut.
I don't know if I can condone that phrasing, Rafa, but Tomio's getting in there. That's for sure. As Tony Top, he's the low member. He's isolated. He's going to go solo out that dragon. Make sure that it's no sole point for C9. Is EG just going to take the base, the first inhibitor. And this front-to-back death ball off the back of Olaf, Rafa. It took a while to get that online, but Tomio, Jojo Pion syncing up the 16-year-old mid laner for EG is enabling the 17-year-old jungler, and these two young prospects have been the real difference of helping EG get back into this game where things were looking rather dreadful for them early.
Yeah, just watch this again. Cloud9 are trying desperately to help out Schernfire, but they just lead the terror right into the back line.
Yeah, and that ult from Tony top, just keeping King there. I know that he does sack his GA, but well worth it is Team Luke in his comfort zone, flashing over that wall with the Immortal Shield Bow, just landing the stows on everyone, helping control the fight so Tomio can keep on ripping through this. As another ECA lands.
Not again! Not again! Schernfire! Oh my goodness, Cloud9! Where did everything go wrong? The macro in the first 15-18 minutes of the game was so clean, but as soon as Evil Geniuses started finding pick after one fight where Cloud9 thought that they had the advantage, it has just been the Evil Geniuses show. Tony Top might go down to Darshan, but that's one member being pulled away from the defense of Cloud9 Academy.
They have to base now, and are they going to base in time? That's one Nexus turret down, now two.
Cosmic Radiance is being popped, but you don't even have to focus on the members. Just focus on Nexus. You've got 3 members there. This will be game 1 going over to EG.
And EG, a lot of people coming into this series were questioning, EG. They were a rocky team. They were the 1-1 specialists that we had in Academy. They have a new member, a young member stepping into this team, replacing Contracts, arguably the best player that we had in Academy this split. And Tomio answers all those questions in game 1. I know the first 20 minutes wasn't what we were expecting from EG, but the rest of them, they band together, and I know we were giving a lot of shouts to them, how they were able to claw themselves back into that game, but one last one, the Team Luke, with those Enchanted Crystal Arrows, because you were like, how did C9 fall apart? How did they start breaking the, not being able to find the map plays that they were making earlier? It was off the back of the picks that Team Luke was starting with those Enchanted Crystal Arrows on Ashe, and that's how EG were able to start to slowly pull themselves back into this game and find a game 1 win.
I pretty much marked my death sentence around 20 minutes in when I made a very early comment about Evil Geniuses saying, oh man, without Contracts, it doesn't seem like they have the veteran presence to lead the team. And then immediately you're like, what you saying, Rafa? You want to say that again? Say that again? We just won game 1. And after that, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll take the seat back. I will refrain from the criticism for the series, as they shut me up, Cubby, real quick. But we're going to have to see how well Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses, the rest of this series quarterfinals, plays out, because I think there's definitely things that both teams can take away going into Game 2, and I know that Latigrus, Mad Magical, and Deathstarks will want to definitely break it down. When we come back for the break, the Analyst Desk will return and see what happened to Game 1. Stick around.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+, as well as Discovery+, with a Galaxy S21 plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best, only from Verizon.